that.
Yeah.
One person waiting. I guess we're not even live yet, technically. Go live. We're going live.
We're going live.
We're going live.
We're live.
You're live.
Apparently.
It says so. Excellent.
An error occurred. No. It says one's waiting, though. Nope, we're live. Well, cool. We are now live. Two watching now. One of them's us. So we got one person in here. Hey, how's it going?
How's it going, guys?
Isn't it great that we're all here to talk about Game of Thrones, the greatest show of all time?
Of all time.
It's so good.
Of literal history.
Oh.
Do you want to see how it sounds on,
What, my phone?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how one of the recommended videos... That's creepy, dude. One of the recommended videos is, my displeasure is immeasurable and my day is ruined. And I'm like, oh, it's almost like Siri's always listening. No, because you said it earlier.
Hey, how's it going?
Sounds good.
Oh, wow, it sounds great.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to A Game of Thrones, A Song of Cuck and Fire. So, we didn't review last week's episode, so we have to do 2 episodes in this one episode.
Who fucking cares? It's like the same thing. Are they even like disparate episodes? They're basically the same one long episode.
They really are, because I remember actually reading a thing where the director who did this episode is going to do the last one and this one as like because there's sort of one thing, and then he ended up not. But that's not here nor there.
Who cares?
We have a lot to go through. So
Okay,
this was
well,
the worst thing ever, and
first
I
of
need
all-
to talk about.
First of all, I think this is going to be like Last Jedi levels of just cuck. Where like for months you're gonna be seeing Game of Thrones takedowns, as it deserves.
Yeah.
But this is literally gonna be like Waterloo for the show. Like everybody, like even people who are defending the show are having a very difficult time trying to explain why all of this is okay.
Yeah.
And why it all makes sense. Like, for instance, the thing people tried to do to explain the end of the bells, at least, was, oh, it's Bran.
Yeah. Oof.
Because they've been doing that every time there's, like, an animal that just does something. They're like, oh, it's Bran. It's just traveling.
Just Bran.
Do you think Bran warged into past Euron to make him shoot down Rhaegal, and that's why he was able to hit him so well? And he wasn't able to hit Drogon the next time because Bran left him?
I don't. I hate you, for starters. And for secondsies, yes. See, Bran is the worst thing.
Because they don't...
He's
You like it, therefore it's good? Yeah,
Shut
that's
the
a
fuck
lie.
up, Nathan. Why
Yeah,
do you
that's
have
a
to do
lie.
this to me? It's my objective opinions.
In my subjective opinion, this is the worst thing ever. I think combined across the 2 episodes, we liked about...
Oh, sorry.
What, maybe 20 minutes worth of content?
Like altogether?
Yeah.
Over the course of...
These 2 episodes we're talking about. Last of the Starks and the Bells. Why was it called Last of the Starks?
Because there's not many of them left.
Yeah, but no Starks have died since season 6.
And...
So they could have done this title in season 7. Or season 6.
Well, because Winterfell is now not good. So it's the last of the Starks. Because the rest of the Starks were Zambos for a moment. Even though we cut the scenes where they fought the Crypt Zombies.
I love how Peter Dinklage in the behind the scenes is like, yeah, and then Tyrion, in his infinite wisdom, brings the women and children down to the crypts to hide from a guy who can resurrect the dead. Oh, that's pretty stupid.
Some big oof.
And I'm just like, woof, man. Like, nobody gives a fuck anymore.
They really don't care anymore. The show has just gone so aggressively downhill.
Alright, well, I suppose we should start with the Last of the Starks, even though the Bells is probably what everybody is really talking about. So, I know people who are like, oh, well, you know... Are you trying to find it?
Yeah.
I forget where it was, but you can look at the video 3 minutes of the cast.
Yeah.
You know, and then it'll... Kyburn.
Have you shot your...
Okay, so...
Are you gonna screen share this? Oh, what's happening?
So we gotta
do this.
I'm gonna pause that.
Okay.
So
It's okay.
Alright, so.
Have you shot your final scenes yet? And are you happy with how things ended? Yes. She didn't say yes. You didn't say yes.
Best season ever!
She's so drunk.
It's the best.
Without telling us anything, because I know you can't, are you all happy with the way with the outcome of the show? Personally, or just
I think with the show.
The phrase.
They all just laugh. I need to get to the Peter Dinklage bit. Oh, this is great. This is a good bit.
In Star Wars.
I couldn't let you go without asking you a little question about Game of Thrones.
Sure.
If you could describe the season finale of Game of Thrones in one word, how would you describe it?
Disappointing.
Oh. Oh shit.
Nobody thought of that. He's bringing all the dead people back to life, and they put the women and children in a crypt with all the dead people. So, rah. Tyrion is smart, but I guess not that smart.
Oh. Look at his face. Just look at his face.
We're gonna have that up for a little while.
Guess he's not that smart.
We're just gonna have Peter Dinklage there.
Just kind of. That's my face watching the.
He's just
watching
there.
The bells.
He's just gonna be there helping us out.
Thanks, Peter Dinklage.
He's just.
I'm glad he could join us here tonight. Yeah, you can.
Like that. A little. There we go.
He'll just be.
There we go. There we go, Peter.
Just put him in the corner there. Okay.
Okay.
We
All
to,
right. We have to get through this.
Okay,
we have to get
okay,
through
let's
it.
start. Okay. So I got drunk, really drunk, for the long night, which was actually a very short night. It was only like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But so I got very drunk for that, and then I was like, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, it would behoove me to not be drunk for the next 2 episodes. So I did not get drunk, and I saw it completely sober, which was a mistake.
That was a mistake.
Because it just hurt a lot more. So I think it as is fitting, we should begin with the last of the Starks, which kind of opens on, oh hey yeah, we kind of like killed all the White Walkers, and that's pretty cool. I guess we're pretty good, right?
And they're kind of done with the White Walkers for the rest of the show.
Well, yeah.
After this scene, after we've mourned the few dead.
Yeah, because it opens on all like the dead people, and like the respective people are going to the. But John goes to Lyanna Mormont's pyre, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Didn't she just like insult you your whole life?
No reason. She just sucks. And then Christ, I fucking hate this show. So what the fuck happens?
Well, no. So it opens on that, and then it goes to a party. Everyone's getting laid.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting hooked up. Podrick, he's getting hooked up. Tormund's getting hooked
up.
Pod the Rod. Sandor's just eating his dinner through the whole scene. He doesn't give a fuck about anything.
That's good. No, Sandor in the wide shots is always in character, which is great.
Yeah.
Gendry gets legitimized as a bastard.
Which is really fucking weird when you think about it, because Dany just legitimized, like, the heir to the throne.
Yeah.
Like, he now has a probably more legitimate claim to the throne than she does.
It's a bit... Not a bit. It's very stupid.
It's also bad because later on Gendry calls himself Gendry Rivers, and it's like he's a lowborn. You only get that last name if you are a highborn, like son of like bastard of a lord. You don't get a last name Rivers because you're a lowborn bastard. That's not how it fucking works.
That's super not how that show works.
Oh,
my second monitor has gone funky, so I have to now fix that.
How do we even know if it's still going?
Yeah, I know it's going. Don't worry.
Well,
I drink, and I know things.
You're not drinking.
So if you'll excuse me, just as I take over, just keep going with this.
You're gonna get the vodka?
No, I'm not gonna get the vodka.
Oh, you're just gonna get the monitor working. I thought you were actually going to get something to drink. Well, everyone's having a party because they basically killed the White Walkers, and it was super easy too. I mean, the White Walkers never even got south of Winterfell, so like. The crazy thing is that Cersei was entirely fucking right. Like, she let them just handle the threat, and they got weakened. Not that it really helped her in the end.
That didn't help at all.
Oh, sorry, we missed some Nathan comments. Oh. When's the last time all the surviving Starks were together? Who knows? Oh, now they're both gone. Now I can't read a single thing. Oh, now that's up. Oh, good.
Just don't worry about it. It's
a complete cuck. I just want to respond to Nathan because he's a good friend. Let's see. Yeah. So Rivers is the name for bastards in River Run. Noble bastards. Gendry is neither one. So like,
Gendry's just a dude.
They completely like have lost the if it wasn't clear, they lost the fucking map like a long time ago. But if you just put all the mistakes they've made in this show, we're gonna have the entire screen film.
We got this going on.
Yeah, I mean, of all the problems in these episodes, it's probably like the least bad, to be honest. But it's the one everyone focused on because it's just like the whole thing in a microcosm. Like, oh wow,
like no one
in editing saw that. It was just
like
right
how
there.
many times did you go over the scene to where you didn't see that? It is really the microcosm of like how the show is so bad because I feel like you wouldn't miss that, honestly, if you were legitimately editing and actually taking time into care to make sure everything was well done and well edited and well paced, and you actually watch the scene over and over again. But this is clearly rushed out. They rushed to the end of the story, which is the whole. I mean, there's a lot of problems with this show, but a big problem is the fact that like we're just like beelining it to the end of the series,
and we have to like truncate plot lines that would normally not be truncated or shouldn't be truncated.
Yeah, or just we don't have the time to have someone's full character arc. So we're just going to revert them back to where they were before because that's easier than completing their arc.
I have no idea who you might be talking about.
Like 8 different people.
Yes. Also, like, not to skip ahead, but like where they took Euron Greyjoy, I did not realize that was the arc he was going down. Once it happened, I was like, oh, that's what you were doing. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Thanks for making it clear. And then he died, and I'm like, wow, that line might be pretty cool in a different context, aka any context. Because before he just seemed like a fucking asshole who would just like kill people for the fun of it. Yeah. But he was like jealous or some shit. But anyway, like, so the whole point of this party scene is to like get you relaxed and like go, oh yeah, like I guess we killed the Tormund's the only one who's going like, oh, she killed the Night King, he rode a dragon, isn't this crazy? And everyone else is like, yeah, I mean, like, it's no big deal. And I'm just like, no, like, more of this, please. Like, what? Aren't we going to be reacting to the fact that we beat, like, death itself?
Yeah,
like,
Tormund knows what's up, and no one else does, really.
This smells... He got caught by the bots. They've been doing their own thing. How do you fuck up something as bait? Who wrote this? Well, Dan and Dave are terrible writers. I remind you that one of them wrote Troy and one of them wrote X-Men Origins Wolverine. So that kind of gives you a good idea about what the level of quality they're used to is. Like, to them, they don't even think of it in terms of character progression. They're like, well, does this scene have like a really dramatic moment in it that an actor can use to like get an Emmy? Does this moment have like a lot of cool fight scenes that are going to make it like really cool for the audience? Because Game of Thrones has basically become just something that you react to in a bar while you're drunk, as opposed to like,
that's literally all it is.
I don't know, trying to analyze as like storytelling, which is what I think the books are.
It's only just reacting in a bar.
That's what it seems to be for. And so we get that scene of Gendry. Dany makes another claimant to the throne for some reason. She didn't even think about it. Because she makes a point of saying, your father took the throne. I'm like, yeah, so if you legitimize him and make him a lord, he has a claim to the throne now.
Yeah.
And Dany's so obsessed with not letting anyone have a claim to the throne that it's like, well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think they kind of just did that so Gendry would have an ending to his character. Because then afterwards he goes and, like, proposes to Arya, and he gets down on one knee, which I'm like, that's never been a thing in this universe. People don't do that.
Yeah, no, it's not.
It's very weird because you know what happens is you don't, like, that's not how it works at all.
Yeah, no. You don't go up to somebody and propose.
And then also there was that weird thing where... there's this weird thing on the show this season where characters will just fuck people and you think they're, like, into people and they're like, no, I just kind of wanted to have sex and I'm going to go, like, on my real character arc.
Yeah.
Because, like, so let me run you through Sansa's character... Through Arya's character arc. So this season, she's in Winterfell. She kind of expresses mistrust for Daenerys. She talks to the Hound again. Melisandre says, no, my prophecy was actually about you. I'm serious for reals this time. She kills the Night King. Then she also fucks Gendry, is with him. Then she leaves Gendry, goes south with Sandor all the way to the Red Keep, then has a conversation with Sandor, then leaves. That is her whole, like, and, like, you could, like, yes, I'm simplifying it, but, like, the whole thing she's done is, like, the only thing of worth she's done, really, is kill the Night King.
Yeah.
Which wasn't earned.
No.
So, like, Arya is completely worthless in this season, because they tried, like, last season to go, oh, like, look, she's so psychopathic, she could, like, kill Sansa, and then this season she's like, no, like, the lone wolf dies and the pack survives. Proceeds to always leave, like, whoever companion
and be on
she's
her
with.
own and,
yes.
and still survive scrapes and bruises and...
Get blown up, like, twice and doesn't die.
I don't fucking know if we could do this without, like it's just so much garbage all wrapped in a beautiful bow that's so, like, pretty to look at.
Well, I know we were watching episode 3, and I was really drunk, but I remember saying to, like, Sal, and I said to Nathan later, like, this show's been terrible since season 5, in my opinion. And Dan and Dave are terrible writers, but I never thought that they would get it this bad.
I never
thought that it would end with, like, Arya killing the Night King and, like, they just easily beat him. There's no backstory.
Grey Worm's the final villain.
Grey Worm and Daenerys are the final villains, which if you had gone back in time and said, yeah, Grey Worm's one of the final villains, I'd have been like, you're high as fuck.
You're wrong. You're just wrong.
Like, I can't even believe this. Like, and then I never would have thought they would have just had Daenerys this quickly. Okay.
It's pretty fast.
So because I know Dan and Dave's style and they're terrible writers, I called it in, like, season 6, maybe season 5, that she was going to go Mad Queen.
Yeah.
But I never thought they were going to literally just go, like, oh, in the space of, like, one episode, basically, we play some creepy music as she, like, stares at people loving someone other than her, and then she loses her best friend, and then she just kills everybody, and, like, and her dragon, too, but it's not like... I remember someone saying, like, what should have happened was her dragon dies when she attacks King's Landing. Like, Euron and everyone shoots the scorpions from the top of the civilian buildings. It hits Rhaegal. Then she freaks out and is like, well, it's in the civilian buildings, then I have to destroy them. But that would make sense.
Yeah, but also,
they have to have her just, like...
And she just starts killing civilians for, like, probably hours.
It's really disturbing because Daenerys, whom... And Sal and I have been shitting on Daenerys, deservedly, because she's just kind of been, like, an arrogant bitch who, like, is very entitled and says that she wants to bring good, but it's always, like, it's only good if I'm the one who brings it.
Yeah.
And, like, that's true, but she's also the woman who is, like, the first person in this universe to want to abolish slavery completely. And also, when one child died to her dragon, she was, like, traumatized and locked her dragons up.
Yeah.
And not
for,
enough,
like, seasons.
And not enough has happened in between.
For me to see her get to that point.
For me to see her become, like, oh, I will kill thousands of women and children just because I'm pissed.
Tyrion said there was 1 million people in King's Landing.
She probably has killed at least 400,000 people.
Yeah,
like,
at the minimum.
At the minimum. That's not even including, like... Because, like, those flames, there's wildfire going off. Like, the dragon fire is not going to... Like, people are going to, like, get smoke inhalation. Like, people are going... Like, they'll get hypothermia from not having, like, sealed homes. Like... Because apparently it's not winter anymore magically. But if it was, like, the books... where, like, winter would stay around for, like, you know, at least a little bit, they would be having hypothermia. So, like, she has killed probably, like, half the population of King's Landing. Like,
yeah.
I know the perspective is a bit off, but, like, I saw at least a third of that city go up in flames.
At least.
Like,
and also, like, just, like, do you want... I don't know if I want to jump forward or not. Like, I think we have to...
All we got... No, we don't want to jump forward, but let's... The whole point is that, like, not much happens in Last of the Starks. It's basically like setting up the pieces for the
Let's dial
bells.
back to a Dany scene where she and John almost fuck. I almost said half fuck. And then they're all like, no, but we're related. And Dany's like, you can't tell anyone that you're a Targaryen. And John's like, but I had to tell my family. And Dany's like, do you really though? And he's like, I'm honorable. And this is the moment I want to bring up, like, I want to discuss with you.
Also, remember how
this.
Ned Stark kept a secret for, like, half of his life or whatever?
Yeah.
Not half of his life, but, you know, for, like, 17 years.
Yeah.
At the detriment to his marriage and, like, his wife's relationship with his...
Yeah. So John's probably like, not going to do that. So let's talk about Jon and Daenerys as a couple. What?
Why don't they get married?
No, not even that. I don't care about that right now.
It's the whole point.
No. I don't care about that right now.
Okay.
What I want to talk about is, why does Jon and Daenerys, why are they attracted to each other?
I don't know.
What? I don't feel an ounce of love between them, and I haven't felt it ever.
No. No. No, that isn't... No.
Early on, they were a bit flirty, and I was kind of into it, and then, like, they just never had, like, chemistry. And, like, it never felt like... They say I love you, but I don't ever feel like there's actual love there.
Well, it's also because it's not helped by the fact that, like, Jon doesn't really say, like... He does say I love you, but usually he just says, you're my queen. So it's always, like, she has the power.
You're my queen.
She has the power.
I love you. You're my queen.
She has the power in the relationship, and then Varys even says like he's under her hold, so it never feels like they're equal like partners. It always feels like she's the one like with the magic puss, and he's just like really whipped, and he's just like you're my queen, and like I don't want to be king. I just want to like fuck you, and like I'll be happy if we fuck, and like I'll help you win your wars because now we beat the White Walkers in 5 minutes.
Dany.
Like, Jon has nowhere to go other than, like... And, like, he takes way too long to realize, oh, she's really, like, not okay.
Yeah.
And it's messed up because, like, not one generation ago, her father was burning Brandon and Rickard Stark.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, sure, yeah. I mean...
Yeah.
And, like, okay, we're not there yet. We need to cover the rest of the bells is what, like, we're trying to get to. But Last of the Starks... Arya turns down Gendry.
Yeah.
Even though she said, I can be your family or whatever. And then she just turns him down. She was firing arrows towards a doorway, which is...
really weird.
Really obnoxious and asshole move, because what if she just hit someone?
Remember how, like, in one of the episodes of Season 1, Jon's just outside practicing? Why couldn't it be the same exact like scene?
No.
Okay.
No, because then he gets to have a surprise look when an arrow almost hits him in the face. But anyway, so back at the feast, Dany is really upset that like people like and respect Jon, and it's like, well, I mean, the person saying that is Tormund, who's like known him for, well, I mean, I'll say years, like, you know, at least like a year. If we're going by like the more accurate timelines, but let's say like take the show at its word. For years, like Tormund has known Jon, so of course he doesn't know Daenerys. He's not gonna go up to her and go like, oh, and like completely informally like knock her around, going like, oh, it was so great. He's gonna go to his buddy and talk to him like
because they're dudes. They're friends.
If I see two people in a play, right, and they both did great, I'm gonna go to the person I know and be like that with them. The person I don't know, I'm gonna be like really polite and go like, oh, you were so great, like. It was real good.
Yeah, but like if I'm at a party and like I don't know this other person, I know like you. It's like,
but to
hey,
them,
buddy, what's up?
But to Dan and Dave, they're like, this is enough setup, and they play like this creepy like sound effect as she's like staring, and that never comes back ever again. It's just for that one bit, and it's like, what the fuck? And so that's supposed to be enough like setup that Daenerys is going crazy, and then Varys is instantly like he has a sense. He's like, no, like once you hang out with the Mad King, like I guess you just have like a second sense about this shit, and. Then he immediately, I forget how the order happens, but I believe he has a conversation with Tyrion. And he's like, wouldn't Jon be better because he has a cock?
That's later on in the boat, but yeah, that scene happens where Varys is like, you know, Jon has a better claim, he's a male, and...
But no, they're on Dragonstone.
No, it was on the boat outside Dragonstone, before Dragonstone.
But then they also have another conversation in Dragonstone.
Yes.
Oh, so they literally just did the same information twice. Ah, of course they did.
But the second time it was more treasonous.
Yes. Yes.
Also, so we have the drinking game. We repeat the drinking game from earlier in the show. Where
oh yeah, I completely blotted this out.
You take a drink, and it's Pod and Tyrion and Jaime and Brienne, and they're having a nice scene. It's not as good as episode 2's drinking scene, but it's all right.
And then
because Podrick's there, and Tyrion's like doing a pretty good job. Because Peter Dinklage's like, we watched the clip, everyone. He's out. He's done. You know, we find out that Brienne's a virgin, and it's like...
Oh, okay. That scene's stupid. You want to know why it's stupid? Because in this universe, to marry off a lady like Brienne, you need to be a virgin. So the fact that she's a virgin is because she is valuable in this society because she is a virgin. The fact that she hasn't had sex is not like, oh man, Brienne hasn't had... It's like, of course she hasn't. She's like an unmarried lady. Of course she isn't. But because the show lost that, like, I think that show broke that as soon as Marjorie was like, oh, I totally have sexual experience. And they kind of implied it might have been, like, just anal or something, but it was like, no, she was pretty clearly like, no, they've examined Marjorie's hymen. It's totally intact. And it's like, oh, the show just doesn't care about that anymore, so. But they do that, and then Jaime kind of gets flustered and then eventually goes back to her room, and then they consummate the sexual tension.
But also, like, Brienne has to repeat, I never had sex with a man before, and it's like, I know. I've been watching. Thank you, Dan and Dave.
Well, that gets really good in the Bells. Their way of bringing things back repeatedly so you don't misunderstand what's happening.
It's so awkward.
David, I'm really bad at writing flashbacks Benioff.
Yeah.
As in, that's a direct quote. That's not something I said.
Yeah.
But...
So, Brienne and Jaime fuck.
Yeah.
I guess that's great.
Yeah, especially because of what happens after that.
Jaime leaves to go be with Cersei.
No. They cut away right before they act. Like, there's no penetration. They kind of are naked and make out.
Gwendolyn Christie would never show, you know... She was very proud of the fact that Captain Phasma had no boob armor, so...
Well, is she proud of the fact that Captain Phasma's a shitty character?
She's happy she's a toy, Josiah.
That's fair.
Gwendolyn Christie's, like, pure in like a really bad sense, because she's just, like, so oblivious to all the...
Yeah. Well, Nathan's talking about the weird sex yells. Yeah, Gwendolyn Christie does those weird yells when she's, like, dying. It's really funny, actually.
They're pretty amazing.
I want to dub those over Captain Phasma getting her ass
I kind of love them.
Oh, yeah. And then what happens after that?
Dude.
So, oh god, that's right. Okay. So, she's planning...
Oh my god.
Yeah, we get that scene where Sansa's like, hey, you know, we just killed, like, Death. We killed, like, a whole army of zombies.
I haven't gotten to...
Maybe we should let people rest for, like, and Daenerys is like, oh, yeah? Yeah, you're not gonna help me beat my enemies? How long should we rest? And it's like, and Sansa's like, we're just talking.
And then Brad Cogman's like, who's running as Sansa always, is like, I don't know, like, probably should wait like a few months because, you know, seasons should probably be a bit longer than 6 episodes.
Yeah, because as soon as they get to King's Landing, it's like a desert, and I'm like, what the fuck? What part of
why
King's Landing
is it a desert? It was so weird.
I don't know. And like, so Sansa's
it's clearly a new set.
I mean, yes, that's exactly what.
Because that one gate I've never seen before with that landscape, it's never been like that.
No.
It literally, it's so bad. It feels like it's probably on a sound stage, to be fair. Especially in the Bells, where we have the scene where Harry Strickland dies.
Oh god, that was like Ang Lee's Hulk.
That was really bad.
Oh god.
Harry Strickland's death. Hold on. I'm gonna try to find.
You can see the green. You can see the green screen. It's really bad. Like, literally see it, not just know it's there. You can literally see it. Okay, so Sansa wisely brings up, maybe we should gather our strength. And then, so, remind me of how this happens. Daenerys and the Unsullied, they take their ships, right, to Blackwater Bay. And then, okay. They take their ships to Blackwater Bay, and Dany's going overhead. And then, out of it's an honestly just pure comedy moment of she's flying overhead. Daenerys, like the dragon theme, bottom, picks up, and then midway through, just Rhaegal gets pierced by a fucking scorpion bolt.
Yeah.
And then gets hit by 2 more, just cuts off. Like, it was literally like a comedy moment, like, oh.
Yeah, okay, yeah, so between this, though, so, alright, let me...
It was literally like a Thor Ragnarok moment.
So, shut the fuck up.
It was! That was like
I know,
like Thor's about to fly in the air and then he gets, like, hit by something.
So, like, yeah, we have Sansa being like, yo, we need to rest. Danny's like, no. Then we have the scene where Jon tells the family, hey... I'm a Targaryen. But these are all scenes that are... Because Dan and Dave don't know how to fucking write. They don't. They fucking don't. They don't know how to write scenes, so it starts with Jon being like, I have to tell you something. And we cut away. And then later on, Sansa's like, Tyrion, I have to tell you something. And then we cut away. And it's like, just show me the fucking scene play out.
They did the same thing with Tyrion going... He's like, oh, I'll listen to your life story, Bran. And rather than get, like, a scene of Bran, like, being Bran, it just cuts. And it's like, I originally thought that was for time. But now I believe that it's just, they're lazy. Extremely fucking lazy.
I feel like if these guys were like, hey, HBO, can we have more time for this episode?
HBO told them, you can have as many episodes and money as you want. They chose to make it 6 episodes. They could have made it 10. They could have made it 13 and HBO would have gone, sure, this is our biggest show. So, like, that's their fault. That's Dan and Dave's fault. They thought they could do it in 6 episodes and have it not be rushed. They were wrong.
They were dead wrong.
No, before we get before we get the Rhaegal scene, we get fucking Bronn showing up the worst.
I fucking forgot.
Yes. Okay. So it's one of the worst scenes in the whole show. Because
sorry, everyone. Sorry.
What are you doing?
I'm making it. I'm prepping it. Leave me alone.
Oh, okay.
Keep going.
So,
don't look at the man behind the curtain.
Jaime and Tyrion are sitting in Winterfell, and then just Bronn walks in, and I'm like with the crossbow, and I'm like, how the fuck did he get here?
Because in the next episode, Jaime can't even go past, like, their, like, lines without being spotted.
Like, he gets caught, and
and so does Sandor and Arya.
Yes! And then he just walks into the fortress, and nobody stopped him, nobody took his crossbow, nobody questioned who he is. And he just walks into the room, and then it's just like, he's like, oh, I could kill you right now. And then he punches Tyrion in the nose, which is funny because Tyrion doesn't have a nose in the books. But he punches him in the face and calls him a cunt or something. And then it's literally like Tyrion just doing the running joke with Bronn. Oh, I'll give you an even double what they were going to give you. And then he's like, better than Riverrun? And he's like, yeah, I'll give you Highgarden. And he's like...
And Bronn talks about, like... Or Jaime's like, you're not a noble, and Bronn's like, every noble house came from some asshole who could get the job done. And it's like, yeah, good point. I get that. And then he leaves. And this whole scene is purely because...
No, you missed it. He like fires a bolt next to Jaime's head, and we get the shot of Jaime going, and Bronn slowly reloads, and neither one of them stop him. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, what is this show?
And like, it
was so surreal.
It was so odd.
It was like,
and then Bronn's like, cool, thanks, bye. I'll have Highgarden then if you live.
And it's like, okay, so we'll trust Bronn, who keeps his word all the time, and he'll trust us because
literally the scene's only there because the writers were like, test groups like Bronn, Jaime, and Tyrion scenes.
Yeah, because I know what happens to Bronn in the leaks. So, it's really bad.
I don't know this.
I know what happens to him in the leaks, and I'll tell you if you want to know, but...
Here, I'm going to mute the...
Holy wow.
I'm going to mute the mic.
I'm not even shitting you. I'm not even shitting you.
Okay.
With Sam and Davos and Tyrion. And okay, all the leaks so far have been 99% accurate. So this is what happens, and I just told him. So That's great, companionship. Okay. Sorry, now you have to think about that this whole time.
Fuck. No, we're not telling you because people might don't want to know that. So look it up if you want to know spoilers. But
yeah, they deleted off Reddit, but it's still on the it's still on some other Westeros sites.
Anyway, oh yeah, so fuck. So Jon leaves Ghost with Tormund.
Oh God.
In a cuck scene, and they go off to the north or whatever, and he leaves his best friend behind because why would Frodo need Sam at the end?
The direwolves were never important.
Yeah, no.
It's not like the whole first episode. Well, not the whole, but it's not like the first episode focused expressly on, hey, every Stark gets a direwolf. That's for a reason.
Yeah, and like we have a hole in the ground of The Hobbit. For a Song of Ice and Fire, we have the direwolf pups being found. Like that was like one of his first scenes that he thought of. They're really fucking important.
And look, it's been a meme this whole time that Ghost never shows up. But we don't even get one scene of him, like, petting him.
Yeah.
Or, like, saying goodbye. He's just like, take care of him. I'm off to stoop my girlfriend. And then Jaime leaves Brienne in tears. Because he's like, well,
yeah.
I pushed a boy out a window. And I choked my cousin to death.
I'm a bad person.
And I'm like, wait, but you totally left Cersei just to keep a promise to fight the dead.
Yeah.
But apparently you can't live without her, even though...
And you promised Catelyn you protect her daughters.
Yeah. But they forgot about that a long time ago.
But they mentioned it in this season.
They forgot about it a long time ago. They mentioned it, but they also mentioned, hey, I took you off my list, Beric Dondarrion. And it's like, why did you, though?
Fucking count.
So they're so lazy because they just say that it's like how in the Bells there's another bad scene where they explain why Jaime gets captured and they just basically hand wave it as well this reason. It's like that's not a reason. And then we get the comedy scene of Rhaegal getting killed with perfect accuracy by Euron and his scorpions. 3 perfect shots through the neck, the
belly,
the neck and the wing.
He gets memed out of nowhere.
And so this would lead you to believe the scorpions can perfectly hit dragons flying like hundreds of feet in the air.
So it's not like they missed a couple shots. It was 3 consecutive hits.
Yes. And then Dany flies down with Drogon and she's pissed. And then they fire like 40 at once.
And then they all miss. And then she backs up. And like, okay, so Dany can't get near the Iron Fleet.
Yes. Because
that's what
this
scene is telling us. Now, Dave, listen to me. Listen. Just you and me here. The scene is to illustrate to the audience that the Scorpion bolts and the Iron Fleet are a huge threat to Dany. That she has to either like outmaneuver in like a very clever way or just avoid altogether. It does not mean that if she just flies down really good, she'll be okay. It means that this will fuck her up as it just insta-did her dragon.
Oh, no.
You're right. She just flies really good. She
just smashed things real good.
Yeah, she's no longer playing Drakengard.
Yeah, no more tank controls. But no, literally when Rhaegal went down, I was just like, are you serious?
Because, like, the dragon dies and, like, no one cares.
No! Well, that's the thing is, like, it's weird. Like, you would think the dragon would die, and that's what makes her go on her genocidal rampage. But no! It takes, like,
it's
that...
It's a friend, not her child, doing that. So, yeah, so some ships got fucked up. There's a cool scene with Tyrion on the boat as a...
Oh, yeah, that tracking shot was pretty good.
Yeah, it was cool.
He gets, like, launched off the boat.
Missandei gets captured, I guess.
Off-screen.
Whatever.
Off-screen.
Well, because why would you have to write a scene? Writing scenes are hard.
Yeah, and then... Oh, God, what happens? Like, everybody else gets away?
Yeah.
How does it happen?
So, and Cersei brings all the citizens into the city to be like, oh,
yeah.
Look, like, don't kill me. Ooh, there's civilians.
Yeah.
And they go there. They have a scene they talk about, oh, Dany might be unstable. And Tyrion's like, whatever. She's my queen. And Jon's like, whatever, she's my queen.
Because they're stupid.
Everyone's stupid but Varys, who's like, Yeah. And then they get there, and then it's the Mouth of Sauron scene. And
We're
then, and then instead of the
Sorry,
mouth,
I can't say Qyburn's name without laughing now. Now, anytime I rewatch the show, anytime I see Qyburn, I'm just gonna laugh my ass off because it's so funny.
and instead of the mouth that Sauron's head getting cut off, it's Missandei's. And Grey Worm's mad, Dany's mad.
We have the Emmy trying to win Emmy scene of Tyrion going, "You're not a monster, Cersei. You care about your child. She'll die if we go to war. Blood will be spilled." And then, it's...
And that's the last of the Starks.
It's really bad because, like, all these lines are just like, nobody gives a fuck about the small folk.
Ever.
I don't even feel like, even like Jon is probably the only person who cares about the small folk. And Varys. Like, Jon, Varys, and Sansa are like the only ones who actually care.
Yeah.
Who have any power, at least.
Sorry, I'm thinking of who becomes king.
You guys are gonna get so...
And I'm just like...
Dude, this is so great because people are going to, like, freak the fuck out. The memes are gonna be so good. I can't even, like, hold in my excitement for, like, when all these diehard fans get to the next episode and are like, wow, I wasted, like, 9 years of my life. And it's like, yeah, you did.
It's interesting because the show at the moment with these episodes, it's like the plot's moving along very, very, like, it's fast, but it also feels like it's almost too slow. Stuff's happening, but not enough stuff is happening. But a lot of stuff is happening.
It's the pacing of the plot is fast, but the way they are executing the plot is slow.
It's really fucked up.
So we're not getting enough, like... So the plot's moving super fast, but because of that, things are truncated, but they're truncated in a very plotting way, if that makes sense. So, like, scenes get dragged out. Like, we get scenes of Arya running through King's Landing, where it's like, this could be better served, like, I don't know, closing out character arcs, instead of doing, like, long tracking shots, and then the Blade Runner reference.
So let's talk about the bells.
All right, guys. So no, before we start.
Okay, sorry.
Would you say the bells is worse than the Long Night?
Okay, so you have three choices. You have either.
I think it's obviously I can see everything. It's made better from a technical level, but I think in terms of like character assassination, it's way worse. Way worse. Like the Night King wasn't a character like it was. What?
I disagree with you.
You still think the Long Night's worse?
I think the Long Night is the second worst. I think the Bells is the third. Like, so
what's the worst? The White Hunt?
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. Like that episode's pretty shit. Well, I don't know. It's terrible. But this Daenerys and Jaime character assassination is so bad.
But
that like it's so bad. Like I can't enjoy these characters as much anymore, like at all. What are you doing?
Where are you?
No, it's the top one.
Are you near the top one?
Oh no, yeah, no, that's one subscriber. Yeah, that's not me. Just go Josiah Miller.
I don't know how to always find you.
Squill, yeah, there it is.
There.
Sitting at almost 500. That's pretty good. You go into my Cleganebowl playlist.
Shut the fuck up.
I haven't added to it, which is disappointing. But yeah, it's gonna be down a ways. You're gonna have to go down. Where is it? Where the fuck is my Cleganebowl? There it is.
So. Wait.
You gotta let's bump that up. It's so great because they say, well, the little brother means Sander, and he's the Valonqar.
I was younger than you. I was 6 years old. Well, he found me by the fire at night. He didn't say a word. He picked me under his arm and stuffed me in the coals as I screamed. My father said that my bed had been set on fire. And 4 years later, it was night. No pretty bird. There is no true night.
Oh. Thank God.
We finally got Cleganebowl.
We got Cleganebowl. So, it happened.
No, well, we can't get to it yet.
Hype is real.
No.
And that's why this episode is the best episode of the entire series.
It is the worst and best episode of the whole series.
Like, I think I wanted to do the meme edit with you where, like, we, like...
The Night King dies, then it says months later, and then just...
Yeah,
then the hound's just going up the steps.
It's months later, the siege of King's Landing.
And you're like...
And then you're like, what? And then it starts up with, so Grego, you must protect your queen. Squish!
Oh no! Kyburn, what have you done?
How do you spell Kyburn?
Yeah, you spelled it right.
I need it in a vacuum.
Oh no!
Oh
no! Oh no!
So Grego, stay by my side.
So good.
No.
Now it ends.
So Grego, I command you.
Obey your queen, Sir Gregor.
What the fuck? That's it for Kyburn. He's done. He's been around since season 2, man.
Oh my god.
Oh god. If you had gone back in time and told me, yeah, Kyburn gets his head exploded. Oh no. Cersei's just like, what the fuck?
She's mildly perturbed.
Oh my god, I'm crying.
And then of course, we get the great scene where Cersei just...
Oh my god, who wrote this? Oh, that is so good. That scene alone makes this episode the best episode of the whole show. Without it, like, fuck you, Blackwater.
Yeah.
This is the best episode. Fuck you, Winter is Coming. This is the best episode of the whole show.
I think it's amazing.
I want to see if Nathan left a comment. Nathan, did...
We heard him right?
Oh, God.
So, Josiah, set us up for the bells, please.
Okay. Alright. So going into this episode, I was pretty much spoiled on everything.
Me too.
Not just because I read the leaks, but because I couldn't help myself and I just like decided to watch like some reaction videos. So what I was getting is this is like the worst episode ever. And I was like, okay, I'm curious.
Even fans were like, no.
Yeah.
Which feels great. Because,
you feel vindicated.
Jesus, too, is prosecuted in his time.
Yes. Because you see, it was... And listen, I've been there. Look, guys, we've all been there. We've all been there. Where we've loved something. We put a lot of time into it. So when we notice cracks in the plaster, we notice flaws, we notice really shitty writing in something that was once good, we justify it to ourselves. Because we're like, oh, no, they know what they're doing. This is all leading to something. This is not pointless.
Yeah, I didn't really realize that this show was bad till season 7, and then like something
retroactively
something
realize
clicked, and I thought back, and I was like, ah, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, because it is easy to get wrapped up in the spectacle of the whole thing, and the really good acting, and the good shots, and the editing, and the music. The music is
always great. Like this, like the bells, maybe like probably the second or first worst episode of the whole show. But it also has like really amazing music. Like Ramen mixes the Light of the Seven and Lannister themes together finally, and then like you get that evil version of the dragon theme where Dany's like burning the Iron Fleet, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like it was good. It was real good.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a news article that cropped up where Robin Deswright was hospitalized for carrying the entire show on his back.
Yeah, he definitely has some discs that need work. But the bells.
So we open with Dany hasn't eaten or drank.
Let's do the con. So Missandei gets beheaded.
All right.
And then the episode just ends with Daenerys walking off.
Yeah.
And then it ends.
Yeah.
Forget that Cersei had enough scorpions to just kill everyone there immediately. And they were within range. Yeah. Especially Tyrion, whom they sent they sent Bronn to kill both him and Jaime, but then she doesn't kill him when he's right there, which is confusing. Oh, the Nathan, tell me the Beowulf theme plays for Cleganebowl. It doesn't, but I'll make that edit because
it has to.
It has to. Because Cleganebowl was kind of like a Beowulf scene, where it was like really over the top, but like you can't help but love it.
Beowulf's an amazing movie.
Okay, so the bells. Missandei's dead. On Dragonstone, Dany is not eating. She's presumably not sleeping.
Jon shows up and he's like, "What's happened?" And they're like, "Yeah, she's sad." And then Dany's like, "Someone betrayed me." Was it Jon Snow? And Tyrion's
you're forgetting the huge opening scene with Varys like writing letters.
And the little bird.
He's writing letters, and the little bird comes in to talk to him. And did you notice this? He literally just flips the note upside down, like, "I'm so sneaky." And I'm like, that's
Conleth Hill, the actor who plays Varys, literally said in an interview that his character fell off the edge after season 6.
Yes, and he did. Yes, once he got that on that boat for Westeros, or back to Westeros, he was done.
Remember the Dornish?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I don't, and I don't care to. Euron's only good thing he did the whole show was to kill the Dornish off.
And exist. He's amazing.
He's not. He's something though.
He's great.
He's a fucking crazy person. I still prefer my version where I was assuming they weren't adapting Feast and Dance. I was like, well, just have Balon be the villain. Remember how Balon didn't get very much to do?
Yeah.
He kind of just had like 4 scenes on the Iron Islands and he died.
Yeah.
That kind of sucked.
That sucked.
Yeah.
What a bad show.
Because he was good. But anyway. And so Varys is guilty of treason. And then somehow Dany, through like, she realizes, no, you told Varys, Sansa told you, Jon told Sansa. And I'm like, that's exactly right. How did you know that? Is it just because she's so paranoid she just can see the lines? She can see the she's just a puppet who can see the strings.
Who? Sorry?
Huh?
Who are you talking about?
Daenerys
rightly
predicts, oh, you told Varys, Jon told you, or sorry,
Jon
Jon told Sansa, Sansa told you, you told Varys, and then who ends up getting executed? Varys.
And no one else.
No one else. And she's just like, Jon, you're cool. Tyrion, you failed me for the last time. And it's like, you keep saying that. You keep saying that every single time, and each time you don't do anything.
Varys got killed off because Conleth Hill was probably like done with the show and she wanted to be done with it.
Well, they were done with Varys.
Yeah.
They literally just did the same thing they did with Littlefinger. Oh, these really intelligent characters. Yeah, they kind of just die.
I do like Varys' line of like, I really do hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, like he's hoping she'll be a good ruler.
Yeah.
But, of course, he was right.
He was so right.
Because...
Right you are, Varys.
So
Varys is dead now
Varys is dead.
because it's the end of the show to kill off people, and that's about it. Because it's save all character deaths for the very end because we can't have people die throughout because that would be interesting.
I'm going to like spoil, not really spoil, but like not that many people are gonna die in that final episode.
Great.
A lot of people are gonna live.
That's great.
I'm just gonna prep you for that.
It's so awesome. Question.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Or I heard different reports.
Okay.
There's 2 different leaks.
Great.
There's 2 different leaks, but most of the crossover is pretty accurate. Dr. Horrible. So I'm thinking, why not cut off the head of the show?
Yes.
Perfect metaphor. But we get a scene of Jon and like Dany's like, yeah, they're like, oh, so we just killed Varys, and then Dany's just like, yeah, they don't love me like they love you, and you told people. And he's like, oh yeah, so that's, you know, that's technically treason.
No, then John was like, but you're my queen, I love you, Danny.
I love you. And she's like, okay, let's have sex. And he's like, no. You're my aunt.
No.
And I'm like, well, make up your goddamn mind, you weirdo.
You fucking weirdo.
And then she's just like, all right. She's like, no love? Well, that's to be fair then.
Yeah,
and I'm
so
like, okay.
If John didn't fuck his aunt, maybe...
If he did,
yeah,
it's just incest
is
solves genocide.
So Josiah, the penultimate episodically titled "To Titular Rebels."
So they set up many times. Tyrion. Okay, so this is the sequence. Tyrion tells Daenerys, "If they ring the bells, that means they surrender. Don't kill them. Just take the city. Bring peace." And then he tells Jon, if they ring the bells, that means they surrender. Gives him a hard look. And then they do it like... In the scene where they're ringing the bells, they have 20 extras going, ring the bells, we surrender, we're surrounded, ring the bells. And it's just like, they say bells so many goddamn times because it's like, do you get it? The bells are the theme of the episode. It's so good. You're trying... Is that a video of someone actually beating a dead horse?
So...
Dead? What's wrong with AIDS? Why doesn't anyone want me to
So this is about kind of what Dan and Dave do about the bells. It's just sort of beating a dead horse.
There he is, beating that dead horse.
Hey, it's Dan and Dave!
Oh, man.
Anyway, that's what I was looking for.
They say it like... Oh, I forgot one. Then Tyrion tells Jaime, oh, if you can, ring the bells, because that means we surrender and Daenerys won't kill everyone. And it's just like fucking bashing you over the head. Like, do you get it?
Do you fucking
No one
get
will
it?
die if the bells ring, which totally means that they're all gonna die if the bells ring, because
It's
that's
pretty
irony.
obvious.
Like, it's so bad. Like, this is something where Martin would say that at like the beginning of Winds of Winter, and that would happen at the end of the Winds of Winter, where he like mentions it once. Maybe they like say one other time, like, oh, well, our last option is we'll ring the bells, but it's not like within the same like episode, like 5, like, well, it's like 4 plus like 20 other like random extras screaming it about the bells, because we get it. We get that the bells are like the whole point, and it's fine. We're not stupid.
It's subtle.
No. And then, so...
Do you need help?
No, I know what happens. Then, so they attack. And...
Yeah, because Tyrion frees Jaime.
Yeah.
Basically saying, like, hey, if you can get yourself and Cersei out of there, go somewhere, go to Pentos, live a nice life. I have a little dinghy for you set up somewhere.
But they don't... The dinghy wasn't there.
It was.
Was it?
It was.
Huh.
Yeah, Jaime saw when it was going right before the Euron scene. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't see him notice it. Okay. But he asked Davos to provide the smuggling dinghy.
Yes.
But
also, while this happens, Sandor and Arya arrive at the camp as well.
And there's this really weird scene of, like, the Starks stopping them. And she's like, I'm Arya Stark. So automatically he should go, okay, cool. But he, like, asks, like, what she's doing there. And she's like, I'm going to kill Queen Cersei. And he's just like... And he doesn't know that, like, she killed the Night King or something. Even though, like, So, like, in the show, like, everybody just knows things. But then apparently when, like... In this particular case, he just doesn't know that she killed, like, the Lord of all Darkness.
It's sort of weird. It's sort of like... Because I started playing Oblivion today, actually. I remember there's this whole big thing where you save Kvatch. Everyone's like... It's the hero of Kvatch. Yeah. And everyone's like, oh my god, you're so cool. Arya fucking killed the devil.
It's
and
so...
no one cares.
It's so weird because she says, I'm Arya Stark. The guy doesn't acknowledge that. He doesn't just go like, oh, okay, whatever. He doesn't recognize her. And then also, she just says, I'm going to kill Queen Cersei. And then he's like hesitant. And then she's just like, well, if I kill her, the war's over. And then Sandor's like, yeah, you probably won't die tomorrow. And then the scene just ends. And I'm like, what was the point of that? Why did we need this little encounter? Like, why can we have Jaime get captured off screen, but then we have to see Arya go through the blockade of Starks?
How does Jaime get captured?
We don't know.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, he gets captured because... So, again, the scene where Tyrion frees Jaime is, while well acted, is one of the most infuriating scenes in the whole show because it has 2 whammies. The first one, oh, we caught Jaime. And then he's like, so how'd you get caught? Oh, it's my golden hand. You didn't think to hide that? Cersei always said I was the stupidest Lannister. And I'm like, that's not a reason. Because later on in the episode, he covers it. and then takes the cover off. And I'm like, what was the point if you didn't? And then also that scene has my least favorite line of the whole episode, which is Tyrion is telling Jaime, ring the bells, we can save the people from being destroyed by Daenerys, because we don't want them to be destroyed like a certain Mad King wanted to, that you stopped, Jaime. Remember how you stopped King Aerys the Mad King because you didn't want the people to die, because at heart you're a good person, and you killed him for that reason and became the Kingslayer, and you dealt with all this guilt and pain because you did something honorable but you were shamed for it? Oh yeah. Well, we're totally going to have Jaime say the line, to be honest, I never really cared about them, innocent or otherwise. And I'm like, you've just killed the character. Jaime Lannister is effectively none of his any moments throughout any of these seasons matters. Because he just goes back to Cersei, he leaves Brienne,
presented by GoT.
He just goes back
Are
to
you
her,
a Game of Thrones
and
fan?
She's just the same as
And
episode
always
1.
wanted to visit
Because he
Westeros?
doesn't care about people, innocent or otherwise, even though he apologized to Bran. So as far as we know, end of this episode, he would throw another boy out a window to make sure they got away with the baby. So nothing changed. All of those Jaime scenes, utterly pointless. All of those scenes with Brienne, utterly pointless. None of it matters. And that's infuriating, because Jaime Lannister is one of my favorite characters in the books. He's one of the best written characters in the whole book. In all the books. And for this kind of fucking disgrace to happen is that his normal hand?
Yeah.
Oh, that's bad. I didn't even notice. I was like, oh, that's probably his normal hand, isn't it? Yeah, that's not good. But okay.
So I saw this as you talked about the death of a character, just show like another like editing inconsistency.
Yeah, Daenerys and Jaime were fucking slaughtered by this episode.
I think I made the observation where the moment that Jaime said, I don't care about the innocents or the people, I said, he just died.
Yeah, everything else is a technicality.
Yeah, him actually like physically dying is a technicality. He's dead right now. He is,
especially because he ends up fighting Euron in the most like, oh, that was like supposed to be an actual like full-on rivalry. I kind of got that, but it was more like Euron was just being a dickhead.
Euron's just an asshole.
Yeah. But then like his whole character arc ends with him saying, I'm the man who killed Jaime Lannister, now I will be famous too. And that's like, oh, okay. He stabs Jaime twice, gets hit with the hand, then he dies. But anyway.
So then, again, like I was saying earlier, you have that scene, that really clever scene establishing the fact that, Dany can't just charge the Iron Fleet, right?
Yeah, because she would die.
Because they show that, like, they are very highly accurate because, the Greyjoys are archers. It makes sense. They have gigantic crossbows, basically. So, Dany has to be careful on the Iron Fleet. So the way that she defeats them is by charging head-on and just blowing them all up.
And they all proceed to fire pretty much one at a time. Instead of fire... Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, there was a bit where I was watching where they, like, fired 2, but they were, like, going like that. Yeah. But, like, in the previous episode, they fired, like, 40 at once. So, my question is, why not do that again?
Because in that last episode, Euron kind of forgot that he didn't have enough ammo.
Well, Dany kind of forgot about the Iron Fleet. Dany kind of forgot that if she charged them straight on, it actually just wouldn't matter.
So Dany's fine. She just blows up the scorpions on the boat.
Euron gets caught in an explosion, but he jumped off during it, so he's fine. Yes. He's not burned. I hate how, like, Dragonfire doesn't burn you unless you actually die. Like, if you live, it doesn't burn you.
Dragonfire doesn't burn you if you're a primary character, and it only burns you then if you're standing in front of it and Dany's executing you.
And also, can we talk about Dragonfire? So, like...
No.
Dragonfire... So, Viserion... So, Viserion, piloted by the Night King, destroyed the wall. And it wasn't strong enough to punch through a pillar that Jon was standing behind.
Yeah, we never talked about that, did we?
No, we didn't. And it's really bad. And then in this episode, walls literally fucking explode when Dragonfire hits it.
Yeah.
So, like, clearly... Yeah, that scene with Jon was bullshit. Like, because they set up in that Balerion melted the walls of Harrenhal.
Yes.
But in the show, they also can just explode things. Like, literally, like, the concussive force.
They just go kaboom.
Yeah.
It's like in really shitty B movies where, like, there's a car and, like, it gets, like, kind of dinged and it fucking explodes in, like, a fiery blaze.
Right, yeah.
It's like that.
Well, it's about the spectacle because... So Danny destroys the Iron Fleet.
But so outside in front we have the defense of King's Landing from the foot soldiers, which is
the Golden Company.
The Golden Company, who
which are
of
all
course,
outside the walls.
naturally are outside because they also defend the castle.
Because that's how a siege works, right?
And by the way, the Golden Company, who have been set up to help out Cersei since last season,
yes,
are effectively like 20 dudes.
No, there's more than 20. They just only showed like a small section of them. It doesn't change the fact that like
it's a handful of dudes.
So the scene literally, I'm not shitting you. The editing is literally like Dany destroys the Iron Fleet, then she starts blowing up parts of King's Landing, and then just the Golden Company is standing outside.
Hold on, wait.
And then just well,
I'm not gonna play audio. Just
there you go.
Edit.
Yeah. So editing wise, so she's destroying the scorpions on the wall. I want you to watch this. She's destroying. No, I want you to pay fucking close attention because this is hysterical. You don't get the audio, but it's fine. Visually, you'll be able to tell. So
here's the Golden Company.
Look at this. We see this establishing shot. Golden Company. There's nothing behind them. There's no fire. There's nothing coming their way.
The ballistas aren't looking back or anything.
No. Nobody's paying attention. So like she's destroying stuff on the wall over here near Blackwater Bay, and everyone's like just kind of staring at each other. The Golden Company's not doing shit.
Here's Harry Strickland.
And like he's kind of just looking around for the dragon. Grey Worm steps forward. Harry Strickland's like, "Where's the dragon?"
It's the same thing as last episode, or the one episode where the White Orc kind of goes, "Huh?
Huh?" Yeah, it's the same face. The Golden Company's like, "I don't get it." And then you get a slight sound, and then just the wall explodes, and Dany just comes through.
That's it.
The Golden Company's dead.
Yeah, that's it.
Sam Tarly has killed more people than the Golden Company on the show. I want you to think about that. Samuel Tarly has killed more people on screen than the Golden Company.
Yeah. And the fact that Dario Naharis wasn't here...
He's not in the...
It had nothing to do with anything.
He was pointless.
Pisses me the fuck
off. What was the point of Dario Naharis?
I thought for like a while that like, wouldn't it have been so cool if like the fact that Cersei is a Golden Company coming means that Dario's gonna show up and like help Dany from the inside.
Yes, especially because in the books the Golden Company is totally not going to help Cersei as far as I'm aware. But like, God,
yeah, and there's just Dany.
There's a slight sound, but literally it's like, oh boom, it blows up.
Also, look at the extras in this shot. They're unperturbed.
Yeah,
they're standing still.
There's even a shot later on where like the fire CGI, so two soldiers in the back kind of like see someone else reacting, and then they remember to double over in pain. And it's like, this is really bad.
So I want to talk about the death of Harry Strickland. Harry Strickland, for those who don't know, is this fine fellow right here. Now, in the books, who is this gentleman?
I actually forgot. I know he's with the company. I think he's like the second in command behind John Connington, but let me confirm that.
So John Connington, who is a great character, who they cut for the show because...
At least they didn't make this John Connington. Can we agree on that?
I agree.
Like, that would have been even worse. Like, even fucking worse.
So let's watch his end. Let's watch the end of Harry Strickland.
Yeah. So Harry Strickland...
I want you to pay attention to Harry Strickland's death. Right here. Where you can see the CGI and the odd camera work. Okay, here we go. So we got Harry. He's like, oh my god. So it's a panning shot. And then right around here, we cut to... Right there with the shape, we cut to soundstage footage of him running against green screen. Oh,
God.
Very obviously. Nothing's happening. It's all green. You can kind of see. And then we get a second other take of Grey Worm and those troops.
Oh, really bad. So Harry Strickland's barely in the book so far. In the Dance of the Dragons, he brings the Golden Company to meet with John Connington and Aegon. Spoiler alert. And then when they land in the Stormland, Harry's reluctant to fight and John sees him as a coward. And then the only other information we have about Harry Strickland is in the Winds of Winter, it's revealed that someone once made off with Harry's favorite elephant once.
Those fucking elephants.
I really wanted those elephants.
Yeah, you can kind of like... Here, let's... I wanna...
Yeah, so it's the...
It's really important to me.
So, because it's the shot of the horsemen is a different shot than the Grey, because you don't see the Unsullied behind them.
Yeah, because Harry Strickland is different from everything else right now.
Yeah, so the horses go past, you don't see the Unsullied.
No.
And then you can
now
see
they're
it like...
here all of a sudden.
Then you can see a second shot.
It's right when they get thumped. And then... It's... And you can see the green around Grey Worm, too.
Oh.
Poor Raleigh Ritchie.
Oh, yeah, you can see it on his face. Oh, really bad. What was the point of the Golden Company?
I don't...
Yeah, just leave it on that face.
Why is it Bill Skarsgård?
Oh, yeah, it is.
I love you,
I would have
Bill.
preferred Bill Skarsgård.
Me too.
I would have preferred Bill Skarsgård as Euron. I mean, at least would have given an intimidating performance. Anyway, so, like, the Golden Company gets got, and then we basically get a scene, a pretty brutal fuck. Like, all of a sudden, it becomes Kingdom of Heaven, and, like, it gets gory as fuck. Like, they get, like, 3 shots of, like, a guy getting cut, like, Blackwater style, like, down through his shoulder to his heart. Get another guy get his hands chopped off. Another guy gets a fucking, like, axe to the throat and, like, gets
playing in the background.
Okay, cool. Just loop that.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh shit, the brutality, and then it's just suddenly like, oh, the Lannister troops surrender, and it's like, oh, they surrendered. Also, it bothers me. I don't know if it bothers anybody else, but the Lannister troops never close the flaps on their helmets.
They never do.
They did, like, in season 2 or 3, I think, briefly, but they never do. I don't know why. I don't know why that's a thing.
How are there still Dothraki left?
I don't know. Why did they have them all charge at the Army of the Dead for no reason?
All their helmets are just open.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy's just closed. No, is it?
Oh.
No, it's open.
Nope, it's open. Oh,
no,
that's open. Yeah.
It's just like...
open. Yeah. Oh, Christ. Yeah. Oh, those guys fell before getting hit by Dothraki. What the fuck? And the previous shot. It's fine. Anyway.
This is distracting. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you can have it playing. Like, go ahead and put it to the beginning, but we gotta
get through this.
We gotta get through. So, okay. And then Jon and Davos and Grey Worm are kind of like, and they're coming towards the Lannisters, and the Lannisters are pissed scared because the dragon lands next to them, and you're like, oh, Daenerys is gonna burn them alive like she did the Tarleys, even though they're surrendering, and she's fine with people surrendering to her. And then just the bells, you get like a 10-minute scene of everyone going, the bells, ring the bells, the bells of Notre Dame. And they ring the bells, and Cersei's like, oh good, we rang the bells. Now Dany won't kill us. And then Dany hears the bells, and she just goes crazy.
Oh yeah. Here we have the bells.
And
so Tyrion, we
get like a 5-minute scene of it cutting to everyone as the bells are not ringing yet, and it's like, please ring. Oh, Jaime tries to get in by showing his hand. It doesn't work.
Arya and Hal get in somehow, and
also, isn't it great how Arya hasn't used her Faceless Men face changing?
And she never will, probably.
No.
Will she in the leaks?
No, dude. She hasn't used that since she killed Walder Frey. What was the point? Why? What are the Faceless Men if they just teach you how to be a ninja? What's the point of being a Faceless Man?
Yeah, they're just really good at fighting.
They're just really good at using sticks. And also in the books, if you're a Faceless Man trained in it, you can put a different face on someone else. So rather than, I don't know, disguise her in Sandor, they just walk into the city.
They just walk in.
Because it makes sense. Makes perfect sense. And so the bells ring. Dany looks at the Red Keep, and I don't know how to explain it. She goes fucking crazy. And is it because she's like, no, I don't, I was hoping they wouldn't ring them? Is it because...
Oh, so since they set it up so many times they're going to ring the bells, we were watching the scene where they're like, this scene where they keep zooming in, and we're like, just ring. We know they're going to ring.
Yeah, we know they're going to ring. Like, the whole point is they're going to ring. Like, it took forever. They, like, cut, like, it was like 5 minutes of just cutting between Dany, Cersei, Jon, and Tyrion. And it was just like, oh. And the bells ring, and Dany proceeds to...
Oh, yeah, when we get to the part... Yeah, here we go, yeah.
Dany
so she lives in Red Keep, who the ancestral home of her people that they built.
And so she destroys it.
The Targaryens built this place. And she's mad.
And Emilia Clarke is trying so fucking hard to sell this moment, and it's not going to be sold. This does not fly. You cannot just do this.
And yet she proceeds to literally just
kills
thousands.
everyone.
All these people, everyone here murdered, dead,
soldiers,
killed.
Women,
just
children,
fuck them. Just fucking
even her own troops. There's a few times where it, the fire almost hits them.
Yeah, Arya almost dies this episode because of Dany.
Yes, because she goes fucking crazy, and the setup for this is literally, there was a scene. Why doesn't anyone love me? Proceeds to say we're gonna kill everyone in King's Landing and they'll be grateful in later generations. I think there's a mental disconnect, and this. I know the point is that we're supposed to be sympathetic for, and then Grey Worm fucking bitch attacks. Grey Worm, one of the final villains of the show. What the fuck? And Daenerys just kills women and children.
This is the gory bit, by the way, where everyone's just being fucking slaughtered as shit.
Are you sure it's not before when
it's right
made
here.
him surrender?
This is a surrender bit.
No.
Yeah, because the gore happens after they get surrendered.
After they surrender.
Yeah. Because they're all hopeless now, and now because it's the shift where it shows that the heroes are actually the bad guys.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing and a better show.
Also, I like how plate armor doesn't matter in the show anymore. I remember in season 1 when it did. Oh, oh, yeah. They compressed all the gore of Kingdom of Heaven into that.
And it's only gory right here.
Yeah. Only right there. But
yeah.
And it's just not earned. Can you at all play devil's advocate for how this is earned?
It's not.
Because just because I called that Dan and Dave are bad writers and we're going to make Dany the Mad Queen doesn't mean that it was earned. Just because it was I feel like they're going to do this because she's burned random people before. I'm sorry the guy knocked the woman down right before they both got hit by fire. That was good. But it's not. And if you're a Daenerys fan, I am so sorry. I know we've been shitting on her, but she didn't deserve to go out like this. This is not worth it. The whole point of oh, it's morally gray, and all these Stark and Northmen just start raping and pillaging, and it's yeah, but didn't you set up that they were loyal to Jon and not Dany? Why isn't his pleas for them to stop working? I don't understand. Why is it not working? But because it's dramatic. And Cersei's just kind of oh shit. And then there's this bit where Qyburn comes in. He's oh, the Scorpions have been destroyed, Your Grace. The Iron Fleet burns. And then she's just oh, well, the Red Keep's never been taken down. He's are you, well, give it time.
Yeah, give it time.
And Daenerys just keeps killing everyone.
Sorry, everyone.
And it's not... Why? What?
Leave me be. There we go.
Kit Harington's just what the fuck is happening?
Why the fuck is happening?
You know, when Emilia Clarke read this script, and presumably the next one,
yeah,
she wandered London for 3 hours in a daze. Because she couldn't believe it, because I don't believe it. She spent 10 years on this character, and then there's something yeah, and then she just goes crazy and kills everyone. And they're just and she's just what the fuck?
Yeah, it's pretty garbage.
And then after that, okay, we need to figure this out. So
what do we want to talk about? What's up?
What do we want to talk about? There's so much that happens. Well, actually, there's not. But then we get the bit with Jaime fighting Euron, and
I'm gonna have to just make it time at half speed.
Yeah, we had the bit where Jaime fights Euron, and it's oh yeah, I guess this was the rivalry you were setting up. I can't believe if you had told me, yeah, Jaime and Euron have the final fight, and it's what the fuck are you talking about?
This is sped up, by the way, so we can get...
Oh, Christ.
It's you're the man who's... I would rather Carl Tanner live more than Euron.
Carl Tanner could have killed the Night King,
yeah,
because he knows more knife tricks than Arya does.
Oh my God, you're right.
I would have rather... No, I swear to you, I would have rather Carl Tanner live and become the Euron Greyjoy role.
Yeah, I mean...
I would. I would rather that.
And look at all this.
And, oh, God.
Get it?
Symbolism, get it? She burns the lion. And then just... It's speechless. I'm real glad I got spoiled, because if I had watched this live, I would have been so furious. Just, like, inconsolably furious. Because they just fucking assassinated Dany's character. And we didn't even like her. She was our least favorite character on the show.
She was, yeah.
For the past 2 seasons, she's been like my least favorite character on the show, aside from like even Euron. You know,
I like Euron more because Euron's fun at least.
And like what they did to her. This is not. And all of you people saying this is anywhere close to the context that will be in Martin's book, just kindly fuck off.
You're
like
wrong.
that, you were wrong. Like, yeah, her becoming a Mad Queen makes sense. But it's not going to be like this fucking drastically rushed, because this is really bad.
And he's the man who killed Jaime Lannister.
Yeah, Qyburn says, hey, we should evacuate. And she's like, yeah, I probably should. Should have done that from the beginning.
I'm just baffled with this fucking episode.
And then the King's Landing is a cinder.
Oh, yeah.
And the wildfire starts exploding. It's even worse.
Which, good touch, by the way, that you remembered that was there.
I'm surprised they remembered that, to be honest.
Brian Cogman did.
Anyway. Yeah, Jaime just kills Euron. I don't have a whole lot to say. It's like, oh, this guy who's, I don't know. He just dies.
Yeah, he's just dead.
And then...
This is really
And
fucked.
after that, we get to, like, the only thing that gave me any kind of fucking solace in this whole debacle, which was Cleganebowl.
I'm so tired. The clip's just called Cleganebowl.
It's the full fight. So, because it's a cliche, there's an earthquake and the rubble comes down and kills all the non-important characters, pretty much.
Yeah.
Aside from a few guards. The Mountain does do that cool thing where he takes the hit for Cersei.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, guys. Qyburn's death and him deciding to fight the Hound instead of protect Cersei, where did that come from? He didn't do that when he and
last season, yeah.
Last season, he and Sandor were like that fucking close. And it's like, no, Gregor's like, yeah, whatever, and walked away. But this time, and the show is not set up at all that, like, his humanity is returning or that he's remembering who he was even though he's a zombie.
Yeah, it would be cool if, like, throughout the season they
suddenly he, like, was, like, quick, like, slower to act.
But that would involve them having scenes, because this season's a weird thing where, like, all of a sudden, like, in typical fantasy, which is not Game of Thrones.
Wait, we need to...
In typical fantasy, basically
can you
what happens
slow down
is...
the Qyburn thing to, like, 0.25 speed?
Yeah, you're right, I'm sorry.
There we go.
In typical fantasy...
Sorry. What? Oh, I never get tired of that. Oh, Christ.
So basically, yeah, so in typical fantasy what happens is that, like, we don't really see the villains very often. We get, like, some small point of view shots of the villains kind of, like, scheming and being evil. But then, you know...
This, like, can I just say, the Cleganebowl was so over-the-top, crazy, stupid fun that it was, like, pretty much exactly what... Well, not exactly what I wanted, but it was, like, damn close. Like, it's the spirit of it. That's exactly what I wanted.
So, I gotta... For the cosmic... It's coming. The cosmic earthquaking...
Yeah. So, he slices at his helmet, but it just knocks it off for some reason.
And also, he looks like
a fat fuck.
He looks so weird here.
Because it's the actor covered in prosthetics, so, like, his beard's probably under them.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, like, he didn't shave.
No.
So
I wouldn't either.
He's like, yeah, that's you. He looks pretty good, but he also looks like Varys. It's really weird. He looks like Varys, and I'm like, what? Oh, man. Oh, dude. Because the scene ends with, like, the Sonic...
Yeah. Where is it? Where Sonic Boom...
So good. just like sonic boom, like a slow-mo clash of the blades is so funny. But you were saying about
so
traditional story.
We show the villains every now and again, but not very that much. But then in Song of Ice and Fire, we show everybody because like villains have their own motivations and are heroes in their own right and are interesting and dynamic. And then this season, we just go back to like general fantasy where like we don't really see what happens with what Cersei's thinking or feeling or what she's planning. Just she's evil, you know, and that's about it. So like we couldn't get scenes of anybody of the
takes off his armor. Oh, phase 2, bitch.
Of the mountain like getting humanity because that would involve Cersei scenes. Like she's gone for like 2 episodes basically.
Well, the mountain they didn't really like care about him as a character after season 4.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not that you could. He's Franken Mountain, but you could have done some subtle like character work of like. Is he slowly gaining like his old mountain self back? And like at this point, she's like, oh no, he just does, so the fight can happen.
Yeah.
And then he like does moves that would kill like anybody else to Sandor because he's like superhuman. But I guess
the mountain has done this move to like 2 people and killed them, but Sandor gets like 8 of them.
I guess Sandor's just superhuman too because he's a Clegane.
Also the seismic punch. Yeah. He's fine.
They thought this was the coolest shit.
And then of course you have this shot of the rubble behind the mountain. Which we both went, what if that breaks?
That's like weakened as fuck. He does the reference to
like,
Oberyn.
I play Zelda, alright? Like...
Well, yeah, it's just like an animation when they like are one block that's gonna fall away is animated differently. And you're like, because the rest is just a stationary drawing. And then Sandor stabs everywhere but the face. And then just fucking die. Fucking Varys Mountain over here.
It's pretty amazing.
It's really bad in a great way. Like, this is so good.
Oh, yeah, he does this to the...
Because Oberyn, do you remember Oberyn?
I do.
Remember a better scene? No, that's good.
What do we say to the God of Death?
Yeah, it's... And then, so, inside the episode, I think it was Weiss who said, yeah, so Sandor needed to die by fire because although he fears it, he hates the mountain more. And it's like... Why didn't, like, the mountain, like, actually have to be killed by fire because he's a zombie, and then...
Or the mountain, like, was on fire, but impervious to because he's the mountain?
Yeah, and Sandor had to actually deal with it, but he would have died from the fall anyway. For all Sandor knew, there was no fire down there. Like, that's not what he was thinking about. There was no moment of him pausing and going, oh, I don't know if I can do this. He just does it. So that's my problem with the Cleganebowl scene, is he could have made it more emotionally impactful. But it's the best scene in the whole episode, by far.
Yeah. It's the best scene of the last 4 seasons.
It might be. Very well might. Well, I'll give Light of the 7 scene some credit. Not for
very good.
Sense, but direction.
Light of the 7 is pretty dope.
But, so that scene happens. Oh, before that, Arya comes up with him into the keep, and he's like, just now picks the time to go, no, I made my choice. If you come with me, you'll die.
Revenge bad. You go.
I stay. No following. Like, the Sandor's literally like, no, you don't want to be like me, do you? And it's like, but the show is showing how, like, we did want her to be like you or something.
And so then we have a scene where Arya runs through the streets and is literally... It's the scene in that one season where Arya gets stabbed 5 times and falls in the shit water. It's that, but it's every scene. And it's different
where she dies at the end of every scene and just gets up and is covered with blood.
Every scene ends with Arya dying, and then the next scene starts with her not being dead.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how that's humanly possible.
I don't, because she's superhuman, I guess. And we get all these scenes of, like, showing the suffering of the small folk, which was good. You know what would have been good? Showing scenes of the small folk before this episode. But that would have mean new characters. Can't do that. It's too dangerous.
You're right.
I mean, the tracking shots are nice to look at, but they're just so devoid of content. And, like, they're not adding much. We're almost to the end. There's only, like, 1 or 2 more things.
There's, like, War of the Worlds here, basically.
We never cut back to Daenerys while she's doing this. She's just the figure of death. It'll be very interesting because, according to the leaks, next episode, Daenerys justifies her actions. And I'm like, really? I would love for you to explain to me, Daenerys, why you feel justified in what you did, because you just went back on everything you said you were gonna do.
But this is all very cool. The idea of like being in a city that's being attacked by a dragon,
Yeah,
is awesome.
Sure, it's a cool idea for a scene. Yeah, it's just like, why does everybody else get burned except Arya? She literally gets covered by dragon fire.
I saw someone say that this season was them running a marathon through plot check marks.
That's what it is. They literally have bullet points that George R. R. Martin gave them, and they're like, well, let's just do them. And it's like, wait, you're not gonna like make connecting tissue? No, we don't really need it. And I'm like, Are you serious?
I feel like it's more crazy now that it's all fast.
Here, we should check to see if Nathan commented.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, Nathan, if you're still here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's...
No.
No.
He probably went to bed.
Oh yeah.
He's done.
I'd be gone too.
Yeah.
No. Now
it ends. Yeah. And Dany and Grey Worm are the final villains. That's what you can take away. If you had gone back in time and told me the final episode of Game of Thrones, Daenerys and Grey Worm are the final villains, I'd have been like, get the fuck out of here.
Oh yeah, and
you're full of shit.
And Cersei, even though she sent Bronn to kill Jaime and Tyrion, she's happy to see Jaime.
And she doesn't kill Tyrion in the last episode.
No. And they go down to the crypts and they go past Balerion the Black Dread's skull. And
it was nice to see him again.
They can't get out, and then they die.
And they die. And wow, Jaime's arc specifically, but also Cersei. Like, what was the point? What was the point? They're just where they were in the very beginning.
Also, Jon. Talking about the time that Jon stopped a raper.
Oh yeah.
And the guy thought, like, you know what? I'll kill the king in the north and get some puss.
Yeah, that's the second funniest scene in the whole episode. Was
next to Qyburn.
Qyburn, that is never going to be equal. But the second best scene is Jon going, "Hey!" pushes the guy against the wall like, "Don't rape her." And he's like, then he goes to punch him, and Jon has a sword aimed at his stomach, and I'm like, so you thought so your dick is so hard, your balls are so blue. You just grab this peasant, you're gonna rape her, and then the king in the north, the guy who you're pledged to, who you're loyal to, says, "Hey, don't do that, or I'll execute you." And you say, "I'm gonna punch him." What were you thinking, you stupid bitch? And like, yeah, we get a Blade Runner reference.
Fucking, what's up with the goddamn Blade Runner reference? Like, so it's oddly enough, it's set up.
It's set up, if you count setup as being the scene right before it gets paid off.
So the scene right before it happens. Oh, so I made the fucking, so this clip is called Arya Leaves on Harry Strickland's Horse. I made the fucking joke to Josiah that the horse was Harry Strickland's as a literal fucking joke. I said, "Oh, Harry Strickland had a white horse. Maybe that's Harry Strickland's horse." And you're like, "No, it got like fucked up by like the dragon fire, the Dothraki. It fell over. Harry Strickland was fucked up, so his
There's
horse
no
would be
reason it would
fucked
come all
up.
the way into the city." Yes.
It would run away from the battle out into the field.
You would think.
And then I made the joke, "Well, of course it's Harry Strickland's horse, Josiah. Its legs were bloody." And Brandon worked into it
to keep it alive.
And ran it over to Arya instead of picking another horse that was not injured.
They just wanted her to get on a white horse, dude.
And before this scene that we're watching right now, folks, so we've had this through line, which by the way, Dan and Dave think they're very clever for having people on the ground that aren't main characters interacting with the chaos as it's happening, which they're like, it's never happened before. There's the horse. They're like, oh, it's never happened before.
We kind of had it in Blackwater.
Yeah, and also like a bunch of other movies and shows and books.
Oh yeah, they're like, it doesn't usually happen in these stories, and it's like,
that happens all the time.
In Two Towers?
There's typically like the one that you follow. It's a disaster movie trope.
Yeah, War of the Worlds.
Yeah. And so we follow the mom and daughter, and then at the very end, the daughter suddenly has like a white horse figure.
Yeah.
Which I was like, wow, I love Blade Runner 2049. And then we get this scene, which is just Blade Runner. Where like there's a horse.
Blade Runner 1 specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's just missing the unicorn horn, basically. And Tangerine Dream. Oh, sorry, I combined both Legend and Blade Runner. It was, Vangelis who did Blade Runner 1.
Yeah, that's very
Tangerine
good,
Dream did Legend.
Which...
That also had the unicorn, which the Blade Runner footage... Yeah, so that's why okay. We're all good.
But yeah, so this horse is just... Arya's like, shush, it's okay.
I don't...
We'll get out of here.
What was the point of Arya coming to King's Landing?
Arya literally, like, shows up and is like, oh, wait.
She comes to King's Landing just so then they are in the Red Keep, Sandor can say, oh, you shouldn't do this. Why didn't you tell her that?
On top of the map of the world, yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, he waited to tell her then, not like, I don't know, any other previous time, so Arya didn't have to come all the way down here. Like, it's just contrived. They're like, we need her in King's Landing because we want her to be the POV. And then she gets a horse. And it's like, well, what do we need to do to contrive that? Well, Sandor can't tell her that till she gets the Red Keep, right? This episode was really bad.
It was aggressively not good.
I still think it's worse than the White Hunt.
White Hunt was pretty garbage.
White Hunt is definitely, like, the moment the show, like, completely died. But this episode was where it was like, no, we didn't even bury you right. We literally buried you with, like, right. We buried you with your cock out. Like, your cock is over the dirt.
It was buried right.
He's buried right. I don't know what else to say. It's an abomination. I told Sal some of the leaks. I know who becomes king. Oh, man. And it's not Carl Tanner, unfortunately.
Fuck. Carl fucking Tanner. Yeah, Ginali.
The Cleganebowl was good.
It was very cool to see the battle. It was a spectacle, to be sure.
That's what Game of Thrones is. It's no different than, like, Michael Bay movies. You can just, most of the time, see it a bit better.
I do like the sunny feel of the episode, though, honestly.
Yeah, it contrasts the long night with the long day.
Which is very good.
I could see everything that was happening, and it was a very
playing clips now,
beautiful looking episode. But it was an absolute abomination of a story. And do you want to briefly talk about that whole McEnally talking about the 2 books being done and how it's probably not, but also it's like weird. Why would he say that?
Yeah, so Ian McElhinney, who plays Barristan Selmy, and for those who is publicly critical of killing Barristan off in season 5. Yeah, so
who has read the books? He's one of the only actors on the show who has actually
for people who don't know, Barristan Selmy, the old guy who said "fuck you" to Joffrey in season 1, who was Dany's like advisor, the old guy, basically gets killed by the Sons of the Harpy out of nowhere. In the books, essentially, Barristan Selmy is still alive and well.
And he's also, in the books, like, the greatest sword fighter in the whole verse. Like, nobody can beat him.
Like, Barristan Selmy, like, defeated, like, Rhaegar Targaryen when Barristan was, like, 14 or something.
Yes. Yeah.
And Rhaegar was, like, in his 20s.
And in the show, he has that scene where he's like, I could cut through all of the rest of the Kingsguard like cutting through a cake. And, like, everyone believes him because he can. And because no one tries to fuck with that. No. Everyone's like, and so okay. A bunch of, like, aristocrats in masks just kill him in an alleyway. It's really worth his time. And so the actor, I remember it was like when he saw the script, the shooting script for the season, he looked at it and went, this is kind of light. And then read it and goes, yep. Arya's dead, by the way. I don't know if you know that. Rip Arya. Oh, and she's fine, I guess. Yeah, she's alright. The whole building fell on her. She's okay. All these people go in. Well, there's no plot armor. I made a video called "The Many Deaths of Arya Stark." Oh yeah, like how they do the Home Alone one, where it's like this trap would have killed them, this one would have killed them. Yeah. So you just do it where Arya would have died of like concussive, like force hitting her against a stone wall. She would have died burning to death. She would have died from the one stab wound dead, 2 stab wounds dead. Yeah. So so he's very critical of the show. Always talking about how like his character, he was very excited to play
more Barristan stuff. And when the show came out, it was when the most recent book came out, and George kind of said that the actor, since he was kind of like, you know, an actual like fan, was like, hey, like, you have some exciting stuff coming up for your character in the next book.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Ian McElhenney is a fucking fanboy and a really good casting choice for Barristan.
Yeah.
So in some interview, I think it was German or something.
Oh, it was Russian.
It was Russian.
Russian, yeah.
Also, I wanted the Dothraki to kill Arya in this scene, by the way. Really bad. But, yeah.
She still has the Valyrian steel dagger. Did you notice that?
Fucking shit.
Maybe she'll give it to a certain person in the final episode.
Oh my god, fucking shut the hell up. Also, she has the horse now.
Uh-huh.
Not before. Never before. But Ian McElhenney basically said in an interview, George has the next 2 books finished, but has signed a book deal, Arya's dead, saying that he will not release them until the show's over.
And so specifically he said, I was told.
I was told.
Now, Ian doesn't seem like he just makes shit up. So that immediately prompts the question, A, if he's lying, why? B, if he's mistaken, who told him that would convince him? It'd have to be someone pretty high up.
Yeah.
Or C, if he's telling the truth, why is Martin fervently denying it? He might as well just ignore it until he's ready to announce it being released.
Yeah.
So none of the options make complete sense. Or yeah, like none of the solutions to me make sense, because either the actor's lying to like fuck over Dan and Dave, but he's also harming George, but he likes George, so like why would he do that?
It's really bizarre.
Or B, if he believes he's right, someone told him that who was high up enough where he would believe it, but it's not true. Why would they tell him that? So that's also confusing. And then also, if it's true, why is George not just keeping mum until his time is right?
Yeah, it's only a week.
Well, yeah, I assume it'd be like a month after the finale.
Yeah.
But like, it's very odd. It's extremely odd. I don't know if George is just like so invested in, because he knows that people who come to his blog would look at that. He's just trying to like keep the wool over their eyes, but I don't see the point in not just waiting a week and just pretending it doesn't exist.
For real.
So none of these options to me make sense, because all of them just bring up more questions. Like, why? So it's very odd. Like, and Ian McElhenney doesn't. I don't know. It was very weird.
It was
because like, I believed him, because I was like, oh well, Ian McElhenney loves the books. He talked to George.
Sense.
He's a fan. Why would a fan make that shit up when he's speaking from a place of authority? He's saying, like, I was told, but again, if you were told that, you'd have to only believe it if it was someone high up. It's extremely weird. Like, it's such a bizarre thing, because for a day or so, Sal and I were like, oh, he's probably right. Or at least I think I was like, oh, he probably has wins done.
Yeah.
And then George was like, no, I haven't had it done for years. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, yeah, I haven't even started Dream. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well.
So it's very odd. Like, how, like, I don't know, like, just,
there's
like,
better ways to get back at Dan and Dave than saying that. Like, if it was all just to do that, he could just say, the show is a piece of shit. The books are better.
Oh, so I could probably play at normal speed now because it's season 5 or whatever.
Oh, hey, Final Villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one thing, is there's better ways to get revenge, you know, out of bitterness. And then also, who would lie to him if that's not the case? And if that's not the case, why is George doing this if it's true?
Yeah.
So either way, like, if he is lying, if he was lied to, or if it's the truth, something doesn't fit with each of those options. And so that's why we've been talking about it, because it's so confusing. Like, I just want to know.
I don't know what's going on. I want to know who, like...
Who's right?
I can't believe that Ian McElhenney is lying, but someone lied to him.
But if they did, like, why would you do that?
But if they did, who could it have been to make it be so
like
credible?
Dan and Dave?
Also, that was Barristan's first kill, and it was, like, kind of off-screen.
God. Yeah, but it's very bizarre. I mean, I like to believe that Winds will be out by this winter, but... You're getting distracted.
I'm just like, I'm just so pissed.
I forgot there was him and Grey Worm fighting.
Yeah, me too.
And just he dies, not Grey Worm.
Yeah, no. Oh. Fuck this. Yeah, I don't know what it could have been.
Yeah, if someone out there has an idea,
there was an idea,
or if someone out there like has a clue as to like fuck this, as to why he would say this, if he's lying, why, if he was lied to, who and why, and then if it's true, why is George acting the way he is? I don't know, maybe George just really is obsessed with not having that get out. And he's just like trying to keep the game up for like a few more weeks. I don't know. It doesn't seem worth it. Seems like now you've drawn more attention to it.
Oh god, why are we here now?
I don't know. There's more attention drawn to it now, so it's weird that George would do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. But hey, this was an hour and 45 minutes of rant and rage.
So it was only about the length of the bells.
Yeah. Thanks for yeah.
That was bad.
I hate this show.
We got one more episode and then everyone's free.
Until the long night.
Apparently there's something, from the reports I've seen from Dragon Demands, something is really crazy about the show, but he wouldn't elaborate. He's like, we'll just find out soon that there's something really batshit about it. And I'm like, is like the Children of the Forest the main characters? Some shit like that.
I'm hyped. Yeah, so Game of Thrones ending. Everyone watch real time when it comes out. Get Amazon now. That's it. Anything else you want to add?
Good television resides where men believe it resides. It's a trick. A shadow on the wall.